B.O.S.S. The Radio Network.
Beauty in the eye. We complicate things when all along it's just perfect as it is. Beauty is from within. It's how you feel, not how others see. Skincare should be complicated. She's the boss believes skincare should be nurturing, easy to use, smell delicious, feel refreshing, and look incredible. She's the boss cosmetics and skincare brings you botanical-based skincare line that's gentle, uncomplicated, and extremely effective for men, women, and you. Feel confident and radiate power that flows from inside out, exude assurance that extends from the home into the conference room. Visit us at www.she's-the-boss.com or call us at 866-494-5945 to get yours today.
She's the Boss Enterprises, in collaboration with Get It In, Island Cuisine 2, presents WSTBRN. She's the Boss Radio's second Thursday's networking mixer. Every second Thursday of the month from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. We will be highlighting business once a month, radio opportunities, advertising, conversations, great food and drinks. So come on out and enjoy $3 lunches, $5 Tito's vodka, and $7 fish platter. For more information on this event and others, follow us on all our social media pages. Facebook, we are She's the Boss Radio. Twitter, we are She's the Boss Radio without the O. IG, Twitch, and Tumblr, we are WSTBRN. Or go out to www.she'sthebossradio.com. We make radio first so that your vision will be heard. If you would like to shine a light on business during second Thursday, please email us at info@she'sthebossradio.com using the hashtag and the subject line. Shine a light on it.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss. The Radio Network.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to She's Boss Radio Network 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days a week, focus on topics to build, strengthen, inspire, as well as motivate men, women, and youth from the home into the conference room and around our communities. I'm sorry, in the conference room and around our communities. I was right. I'm your host, Lakita, along with my fabulous co-host.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be back this week. I was out last week. I hope you missed me. You might not have known I was gone. But anyway, thank you for joining us here on She's the Boss Unboxed.
We was talking some crazy stuff. I don't know. They probably said, oh, Pam definitely not dead, because there would have been flags all over the place. We want to thank you all for tuning into the show. We invite you to be a part of the show by calling us at 443-272-5922 or join us at she'sthebossradio.com. There's no longer a V Lounge, but you can tune into the show by listening to tunein.com, Google, Alexa, and Siri by saying, hey, play She's the Boss Radio. We're on Shoutcast, Facebook, where She's the Boss Radio, Twitter, where She's the Boss Radio without the O, WSTBRN on IG, which you can follow us there, but you can't really watch us there. For technical reasons. Twitch and Tumblr, you can go out to WSTBR. So it's always a mouthful, but yes, Pam, we was cutting up just a tad bit, just a little bit, not a whole lot.
No. I'm sure that's
not a whole lot. So how was your day today? Uh-oh.
Almost made me say a few choice words, which I never really say, but it almost made me go there.
Oh, wow. What? Oh, my gosh. Okay, so
it was a crazy day. That's all I can say. It's like just massive things that were coming, as you're trying to get something out, something else will come along as you're trying to, like I will, respond to some of the customers. And as I respond to some of the customers and I answer their question, they come back and ask me the same question that I've already answered. It was that kind of a day. Yeah. But, again, I held it together. I think we all have one of those days where, it's just a little bit maddening. Was not like that. But it made me feel like I wanted to, but I didn't. I thank you, Lord. I held my peace, as they say.
So you had customers like me today. And I say that because Mike bought me a gift for my birthday. When it came, it was damaged. I mean, it was really, it was funny because I was looking, I was like, okay, this look a little funny. What's wrong with it? But you could tell it was dropped. So it worked, but it's like, okay, is it going to cause problems down the road?
Correct.
And so it's like, no, maybe we should just go ahead and send it back. You spend a good little bit of money for something is like maybe the best thing to do. You of course you want it.
Yeah.
You ordered something new. You expect to get that. So we sent it back. And it, oh God, the darn thing was so heavy. Getting it out, I was so excited for the unboxing. And then I had to put it back in the box. And then I had to drag it up steps so that we can get it out. Yeah, that was something. But listen, for that alone, you should have been we should be compensated. So we send it off. And so he tells them that it's sending, you have XYZ amount of time to send it out. But they tell us that they're sending a replacement. The replacement was supposed to have been shipped on the 24th of May. We are...
This is June 2?
Yeah.
2?
June 2.
Okay, yeah.
It's not here yet. And it said that it was out for delivery yesterday. Of course, it didn't make it. So Mike went to check the status to see where it was, and it said, "Oh, it's running late. Reach out to the shipper, the shipping company. We don't have a tracking number, so how can we reach out to the shipping company?" So now we go to the company that he purchased it from. They say, "Oh, contact the seller." We contact the seller, and the number that they have for the seller is not the seller. It's like, are you serious? So we finally get to a voice to kind of figure out what's going on. And she tells me that, well, we have to reach out to the seller to find out what's the status, where is it? What's the tracking or whatever. And so Mike is like, well, I don't have a number for them. She's like, oh no, we don't have a number. We have to contact them through the system. Quote unquote, the system is definitely email because you don't have a phone number for them. How is it that I'm selling a product under you, but you don't have a phone number for me? Okay, that's something else. That's a whole nother show within itself. But anyway, she doesn't have a contact number. So she's saying that she's contacting them as we're on the call. So he says, well, we have a business and this is affecting our business. So, we have to contact the seller before we can even, move forward with this. So at this point, I done got really frustrated because I'm like, this is bull crap. We're into day 2 of June. This was supposed to have been shipped on the 24th. Never mind the fact that when he originally purchased it, it still didn't get to us within a week and a half later. And it came broken. Now, mind you, this is something that we use for the business. So the business, what's happening?
You understand?
I'm hurting, right? Because I got a client, so what have you. Great thing is I'm not hurting that bad because I have the actual machine. I just have a smaller version of the machine. So it's not really hurting me per se, but it's hurting me. It's making it a very big inconvenience for me. So I said to the lady, I said, well, now we're going to have to wait another day. So she's saying we have up to 2 days to get an answer as to the tracking information. So that's an additional 2 days outside of the 2 days that I've been waiting that it should be here.
Okay. And plus the time
exactly.
that to ship it.
So I said to her, he just told you we're a business. How are we going to be compensated for this delay? Because just like you are a business, how are you going to compensate? So to me, it sounded like the concern was more so for the seller, which is the third party, as opposed to the customer, myself. And so she's like, well, I can't do anything about the compensation. That would have to go through the seller. But yet you don't have a phone number for the seller. And the only way they will get involved is if the seller, I guess for whatever reason, does not respond to with the tracking information, or the seller says they can't send it, or whatever the case may be. So I'm like, where they do this at? Like, that doesn't make sense. So me as a customer I'm telling you that I'm, as a business, I'm losing money because of your service that I purchased through you. You went out and used the third party. So I'm purchasing, but now even if I said to you, I want to cancel it. So, okay, if I want to cancel it, I don't want to use them. I want the refund to go someplace else. Guess what? I still can't cancel it because it has to come from that third party. So I'm like, where in the world? So now I'm frustrated and I'm going back and forth. Every time I'm asking her the same stuff. Because at this point, I'm like, well, if you can't do something, then I always feel like you need to escalate it if it's above you. And I get it because she's the customer service person, the person escalated to somebody that can, because you don't have the power to do whatever. But there should be some type of compensation for the delay. And so I hope she don't think what's the name? Nate. I hope you don't think that was it, because even after it comes, there should be some type of compensation for it. And then if not, then there surely they have feedback and comments. So there would, and I took the pictures of the original product when it was beat up and damaged. So okay, there you have it. Because not only will I voice my concerns about how the process worked, but it'll be for the company, that the original company, and the process of the third party. Because I just don't see where it's like, okay, you're the customer, I inconvenienced you, yeah, but you're gonna have to wait. Never mind the fact that it's your business. Yeah, never mind. You're just gonna have to wait. So I thought, I kind of went back and forth with her all day, and I really was kind of pulling her chain. But I was irritated because it's just to let you know my frustration. You need to feel my frustration as the customer. And, I have a business too. So you need to feel it's not like I was just ordering a throw pillow to put in my living room. It's a business. So I'm telling you, but it's like, yeah.
I put my bike in shop. I put my bike in the shop, right? It's kind of funny. So I tell the guy, I bring my bike to him. I show it to him because it's been in the shed for some time. So I broke it out and I said I'm going to get it. I know that it needs new tires because it's been, like I said. So he was telling me, and I thought I heard him say one price. And I said, well, what if I buy my own tires? He said, well, they're going to cost the same amount, in the store. But like I said, I misheard.
Okay.
And so he said, like, this price, one tire is this and this. When he gave me the price for both, I said, oh, okay, I got you. I understand what you're saying. But then he acted like he said, afterwards, and I was asking what is going to be the final price, because I know I need tires. I'm not just getting it tuned up. You're gonna go get your car tuned up, your oil, Well, I'm doing that for my bike, making sure I said my brakes and all that stuff is working with stuff. So they have a set price for that, and I'm cool with that. But I know that I'm going to incur more expenses because I already knew that I need, I wanted to go ahead and get the tires changed too, because I'm not going to use those tires now. Been there too long setting. So he acted like he was irritated with me because I asked him what about what it would be. I am not asking you. You don't have to give me the exact dollar amount, but let's put this together so I know what I'm looking at. So when I come back and get my bike, I can afford my bike. My bike costs more than what the service is. Right. I'm not going to give up my bike for the service. That's for sure. So he acted like he was irritated. I didn't say anything, but I know when I go back, I didn't want to say anything. I thought about it. I said, I should have said something. And I said, no, maybe that wasn't the right time. That I'll talk to this gentleman when I get back, get my bike, and let him know this is not how you treat a customer. What was so wrong with me asking you the question? How much would it be?
At least give me an estimate.
That's what I said. Give me a, how much would it be? So I can make sure that I come back with a full amount. I'm not charging. I'm paying the full amount. Right. I'm going to give you the cash, and we're going to call it a day. And like I said, I was like, no, he didn't.
You was asking too many questions.
I was like, yeah. So people, like I said, be careful how you talk to them. Like I said, I had a crazy day myself, but I was always conscious of how I was responding to that customer, even though I know that it was asking me the same question. I'm like, wait a minute, I just answered it. Did you read what? But yeah, so we do. Yeah, it can be kind of difficult as the consumer, the other person on the end that's getting, the information. So I get it.
So we're coming up on our first break. When we come back, we're gonna jump into our topic. I'm gonna fill Pam in on our subject from last week, and we're gonna just get in here and have a good conversation. We invite you to be a part of it. We'll be right back after this break.
She's the boss. Radio Network.
Bored with the traditional wedding, birthday, or special occasion celebrations? Do you feel like you just don't want all the pressure of coordinating your own event? Do your friends all seem to become professional event planners for your memorable moments? Are you thinking of getting engaged and want a romantic way of doing it? Let us design it for you. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. Let our photographers help you to make a statement. Want to make an impression with a beautiful arrangement? Speak with our floral designers. Zeal Enterprises, an all-inclusive event management company that provides complete consulting and coordinating services for weddings, anniversaries, reunions, theme and birthday parties, festivals, conventions, and conferences. Our team of professionals are excited to work with you. Call today, 866-494-5945, or go online to www.zealbnr.com to begin designing your event. Remember, in everything you do it with zeal.
She's the B.O.S.S Enterprises in collaboration with Get It In Island Cuisine 2 presents WSTBRN. She's the B.O.S.S Radio. Second Thursday's networking mixer. Every second Thursday of the month from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. We will be highlighting business once a month. Radio opportunities, advertising, conversations, great food and drinks. So come on out and enjoy $3 lunches, $5 Tito's vodka, and $7 Fish Platter. For more information on this event and others, follow us on all our social media pages. Facebook, we are She's the B.O.S.S Radio. Twitter, we are She's the B.O.S.S Radio without the O. IG, Twitch, and Tumblr, we are WSTBRN. Or go out to www.she'sthebossradio.com. We make radio first so that your vision will be heard. If you would like to shine a light on business during Second Thursdays, please email us at info@she'sthebossradio.com using the hashtag and the subject line, shine a light on it.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss. Radio Network.
Welcome back. We're getting unboxed tonight. We are talking about. Well, we were talking about that's not our subject. We were sharing our day in customer service experience. Yeah, because you really, I mean, I think sometimes too we get away from being considerate of what the actual, like I said, it wasn't like I ordered a throw pillow for my couch, or something. This is something that's causing a problem. So I don't know. I just thought I don't feel like I got the satisfaction that I should have gotten from it. Thank God she didn't have what you call those surveys after the call. Yeah, because I would have spent time on that survey. Usually I'm like, nah, I don't want to do. She would have got a survey from me, but that one
she might have had one, but she said I could tell her.
Right, right, that's true. She probably said no, she ain't got to stay around for the call.
That with her,
right? So, but that's okay because and I caught her off guard when I asked for her name because she sort of paused like, "It's crickets." No, ma'am. I need to know your name. But it's okay because I will. They do have feedback, and it's so funny because Mike is really good about reading the reviews and the feedback. He is good at that, and I'm like, because to me, I feel like I can go pay somebody to go write a bunch of good reviews. It's sort of like hit and miss. You kind of don't know if it's real accurate, right? And so then you get those ones. It's like, okay, they got 10 reviews. All of them are outstanding. Yeah, right.
Not even slightly good.
Right. Yeah, all of them outstanding. Got 5 stars on everything. Yeah, okay. So I don't really do a whole lot with the reviews, but this time, like I said, I took pictures of the product when it came. I took pictures of the box. So when I looked at it, I was like, okay, the damage that happened to the product happened before it got into the box. Because the box it only had one dent or scratch, and that was totally on the opposite end. And it was padded pretty well. So I'm like, oh, that was broke before y'all put that in the box. So it was like, okay, but very interesting to say the least. But so last week, if you had a chance to check out the show, we had our guest co-host here last week because every third Thursday, we ask an attorney. And so it was a lot of fun having Joy in here because we were hitting her with questions that I don't know. She's like, ooh. So we were hitting it with some really fun. I'm gonna say fun because I couldn't believe that some of the things that we people are suing for. And I had to ask her, I was like, Joanne, do you get situations where people come in and you like, if you don't get out of here with that, and she's like, you absolutely get some strange
Because I want to
requests.
know what my recourse is for as as the customer service side of this.
Oh my gosh, you right.
No,
Like,
go
do I
ahead.
get to sue the client for pain and suffering on the phone? Like, you gave me a headache. That's funny because we had somebody else. The lady was having so many problems with her computer today. She was like, I got a headache. It wasn't our fault. Somehow they was doing something wrong, and it just went longer than we expected. But it worked. But she's like, I got a headache. I was like thinking to myself, poor thing. She's having a rough day. And then Mike didn't help her none because he started picking with her. She thought she broke his license. She was like, oh my God, did I do that? And he was like, yeah, you did. And I'm like, don't do that to that lady. She's like, oh my God, I thought I done it. She's like, I was getting ready to go home for the day. Be like, this is enough. I had it. But yeah, so yeah, that would be funny if there's some way that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I wouldn't.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So last week we talked about, we had some questions about what could you take people to court for, or what are some of the things that people had people come in for. She's like, yes, she's had some really crazy situations. We talked about last week. One of the questions that was posted was, can you if your significant other is cheating outside of the marriage, can you sue the person and the significant other? And she's like, yes, you can. You can sue the significant other, and you can sue the person that he or she is cheating with. And not only that, it's a felony. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, but the fine is somewhere along the lines of like $10 or something. Oh, it's a misdemeanor. Yep. Sorry, it's a misdemeanor.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
not a felony.
Okay.
Misdemeanor. I had to change it.
Ooh,
Misdemeanor. So I said, but then too, Kayla's like, oh, she gave that's the wrong information. Y'all shouldn't have put that out. But no,
That's
because
a married couple now. We got a lot of
Yes.
people that's that
Yes.
are living together.
Common
or
law.
and
We talked about
that's
that
not
too.
Gonna, that's not going to work in this case.
We talked about we touched a little teeny bit on common law marriages, and how I think I wasn't real sure or clear if she said Maryland was one of those places, but she talked about Virginia and how Virginia is a Commonwealth state, and how we talked about how, to me, it feel like they kind of make up the rules as they go along. Their laws is real different, so don't go to Virginia doing nothing crazy. But in some places, it's not. It's a misdemeanor, but it's a bigger. You're breaking the law in some places. So I was like, wow, that's
So the penalty is heavier. Is what you're
I think
saying?
so. In some
Okay.
places, like it depends. She said you have to find out from the state that you're in, but in some places the law is a little bit more stiffer as it relates to adultery or stepping outside of your marriage in those states. And I was like, wow. But she said a lot of places practice Commonwealth type. I think she said that. Then she said it's like we're Commonwealth type country or something, and a lot of country or states practice certain laws. So it was very, very interesting. I say, Lord, you gotta do your research. So I'm like, all these people around here wearing this thing like a badge of honor, y'all could go to jail. Granted, it's a misdemeanor, but what is it to that spiteful spouse that's hurt? Because we all know hurt people. So what is it to that? There's nothing for that spiteful spouse to say, okay, it might be a $10 fine, but I'm gonna make your life miserable because now it's on your record that you're an adulterer or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's a thought. I mean, and so she said that she's had people come in and say certain things. They want to take the husband to court for this, that, or the spouse to court. She said, but she always asks them if there's children involved, because if there's children involved, it's like you got to go back and forth to court, and it's taken from the children, and you got to go through all of this, that, and the third. She's like, and if that's the case, then I just tell them go get a therapist and get a divorce. It's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because if it's at that point where they've moved out and gone on to be with somebody else or what have you, then. So it's like, okay, so what happens if that person is also messing around? She said, well, then that person can counter sue. I was like, well, it'd be a whole mess in the courtroom. So one of the other questions we asked was the rights of grandparents. as a grandparent, do I have any type of rights? If should something happen to my son or my daughter, would I have any type of rights as it relates to the grandchild? And she says yes, but to a certain extent. It kind of goes along with if you had custody or if that child was living with you, or you were the provider for that child, and then it kind of works that way. But what she did kind of share was there's something called, dang, I wish I could remember. I didn't bring my notes, but there's something that a lot of times, and I think we've even talked to folks that had they were raising their grandchildren, and they thought, well, as a grandparent, I don't have the resources. Like I can't go to a certain place or agency to get the help that I need, the financial help that I need, because I am that child's grandparent. But there is programs and assistance that you can get as the grandparent. Should you? And I think she said not only if you're the grandparent, if you're like the aunt or guardian, like family guardian, though I forgot what the term was actually called, but there are some actual help that you can get in terms of financial assistance to be able to take care of that child. And I said that's good, because I've met a few grandparents that say, there's no help out here for us. We have to take care of them ourselves. We don't have a resource to go to, to help. And she said that there are some agencies out here, and I do apologize. Hopefully I can find the information that she said and I can post it, but there are some resources but as a grandparent, and then she said you have to be able to prove that, because it's always the best interest of the child. So you have to be able to prove that you can maybe have a good relationship with that spouse, that child's parent, other parent, existing living parent. Because at the end of the day, you want them to be able to work with both. But if it's a situation where it's not healthy for the child, then you got to do what you got to do, because we always got to put the babies first. They can't fight for themselves.
And not able to defend for themselves at that age. Of course, at a certain age.
Right.
We've already put a line on that anyway. The number is 18 before they,
before they think they're grown. Not in this day and age. They think they're grown long before that, but
legally,
yes.
I'm talking about legally. Then yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she had some really good information as it relates to that. And she said she get a lot of grandparents coming in. And I told her I'm ready to take mine to court, and ain't nothing wrong with him. He's still little, but I just don't like the fact that I don't get to talk to my babies. I
don't know if that's going to be a legal defense, but
yes. Gosh. All I'm saying is
alienation of affection.
You're right. That's on my grandbabies. There it is, Pam. All I want to do is see him from time to time. Golly, I'm not even asking to take him. Just let me see the things for a time.
Told me, and we're married to an Asian. The person who spoke this said they were married to an Asian person, and the person that they were married to at that, like I said, they in their culture, according with the culture, is in their culture, is the children take care of, make sure that they take care of their parents, and also the children, like that they have, because eventually they take care of the children to try to make sure the children go to college or whatever, if they get their education, because again it's going to turn around with that child is taking care of them, just like they taking care of their parents, they take care of their kids. The parent would take care of not only their children but their adult mother or father, their parent, and their children, because eventually, like I said, that there should be a shifting where they become, in the role of their parents, and their children take care of them.
Me and Mike might be in trouble.
I said, wow.
We might be in trouble. We might have to start a senior club.
It is, in that, Asian culture, it is where, like I said, they are automatically know that this is what's going to happen.
It's going to be expected of me.
When I was talking, and I should say more listening when he was saying, what he was saying, it was, like I said, he didn't know that as they went into the marriage. Of course, he realized this is what I have to do as her husband, is to make sure that like I said, I'm taking care. He said, now I'm taking care of her, I'm taking care of the mother, and I'm taking care of the children.
Oh wow,
but, yeah. So you have to know, understand the culture.
It's a package,
right?
Listen,
because this is not how we work here.
Oh.
You know, as Americans, this is not our. No, we don't follow that
Yeah.
logic.
So we're gonna take our next break of the evening. When we come back, we're gonna jump into our topic. We'll be right back after this break.
She's the boss. Radio Network.
Hey, I'm Debbie James for Neatly Done Carpet Cleaner. You've probably been home a lot more. Maybe you have kids like me who spill all the time. And you've noticed that your carpets not looking so good. Why don't you call Neatly Done Carpet Cleaner? They use a dry extraction service. So you won't have wet carpet all day long, and you can get back to doing the things you love with your family immediately. And it's a way to make your room healthier while improving your indoor air quality. You can do tile, slate, granite, ceramic, area rugs, and yes, they're pet friendly too. Why don't you get a free, no obligation estimate today? Neatly Done San Antonio.com.
She's the Boss Enterprises in collaboration with Get It In Island Cuisine 2 presents WSTBRN. She's the Boss Radio's second Thursday's networking mixer. Every second Thursday of the month from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. We will be highlighting business once a month, radio opportunities, advertising, conversations, great food and drinks. So come on out and enjoy $3 rum punches, $5 Tito's vodka, and $7 catfish platter. For more information on this event and others, follow us on all our social media pages. Facebook, we are She's the Boss Radio. Twitter, we are She's the Boss Radio without the O. IG, Twitch and Tumblr, we are WSTBRN. Or go out to www.she'sthebossradio.com. We make radio first so that your vision will be heard. If you would like to shine a light on business during second Thursday, please email us at info@she'sthebossradio.com using the hashtag subject line, shine a light on it.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss. The radio network.
Welcome back. You're getting unboxed tonight with myself, Lakeia, and Pam. Again, we invite you to be a part of the show. So tonight's topic: what is the perfect age? That is a great question because we gotta put age on everything. I think, in a sense, because if you want to get married, if you get to a certain age and you're not married, then they're looking at you like, my husband's favorite person that he used to listen to would have certain comments about when you get to a certain age. I wish he had the microphone because he would tell you if you get to, 35? 30, listen there, 35 and not married, then what?
What? I've never heard of that one.
Yeah. So you might as well basically hang it up. You're not gonna get what you're looking for if you're 35 with kids and not married. It's like, are you serious?
Really?
So you hung up. Out to dry, leave it alone, let it go. If you ain't got nobody in your life by 35, you ain't get nobody. Whatever. Because it's like at 35, I think we are still finding ourselves, honestly. Like, you still
I mean, if we, like say, in comparison, like say, for someone who's, 35 to 40, you can recall your parents, like I said, and you ask them, they were married a little bit earlier than around that age. But now today it's, not so much, because so much is available to us as women that now that we're exploring and doing things, I'd hate to keep saying, we're doing things on our own. It's just that not so much that we're doing it on our own. It's more so that we're discovering things that we didn't have the opportunity to do when our grandparents, had that, during their age at that time. So I think, it's not so much that we don't want to get married or we do, and that's not for everybody. But again, even then, our grandparents, not all our grandparents, well, she's not grandparents, but, at that age and that time, was everyone wanted to be married back then either.
Ooh,
I mean, even though they might have I'm thinking, like I said, because, it was kind of like the, an unwritten rule that this is what you do.
Right.
But that's not to say they truly wanted to do.
Right.
So
okay. Yeah, I agree.
now it's because of the day we have the option of saying, I don't want to.
That's true. And
I'll
I'm gonna
do
tell
it
you
later. I want to get.
I was watching the first ladies, I think it is. And it was interesting to watch it, right? Because at first I was like, okay, where are we going with this? But I kind of got it. I got a couple of things from it, and they were talking about it started with Roosevelt's wife. Was it Franklin? And then Franklin Roosevelt's wife. The other wife was, it'll come to me, Gerald Ford's wife, and Michelle Obama. And so even with you saying that, and it's good that we're talking about what's the perfect age, or is there a perfect age? Because it looks like back then when Roosevelt was in office, his wife was so active in the independence of women. And I think it kind of, because she opened up the door, and watching that, I don't know if anybody had a chance to watch that. I think it's on either Hulu or Netflix, but it's a very good, interesting series to watch, because I learned a lot of stuff from just watching it. It's like, oh wow, but just to see the strength of the women that was behind them in the president's office, but the roles that these women played while in office. And so I at the end, I had to think about, why did they pick these three? I had to tell you on a break why I think they picked those three.
Okay.
But they talked, Roosevelt's wife was really big on the independence of women, and how, we should not, because they believed in just not, and also Ford's wife was really, really big on it too. Because it was almost like you should be seen and just not heard. Like, our job was to do domestic stuff. Like, we had rights to vote, but we didn't vote because, our husbands didn't feel like we should. And if we did, we had to vote with who they felt like, we might not agree with what they said, but we had to vote for who they wanted us to vote for, because we just didn't have our independence. So to watch them and to see, the different roles that they played, it's like, oh, okay, this is good. And the perfect age is good because it shows the different generations of how things came about. And it was really, really funny because, like I say, when we think about the perfect age, what is the perfect age? You got a perfect age for marriage. Well, you should be married by the time before you get 30, or, you got a perfect age for, okay, you should graduate high school. Back then it was like 17, 18. You should be graduating, and you should be able to, getting ready to go straight to college. So what happens when you become somebody older and you say, okay, I raised my kids, I did a little bit of my career, but I want to try something different. Is there an age limit on when you want to kind of, I don't want to say reinvent yourself, but yes, reinvent yourself. You've raised your family, you and your husband may be that empty nester, and you may want something different in life. So is there an age limit? Lord, do we have expiration dates? No,
you know what I'm saying? Not until they close the casket.
Right. So, but a lot of times we feel like, oh, I'm just too old for that.
Yeah.
My mom will be the first person to tell you she ain't trying to do listen. I'm trying to get her to show her how to do all type of stuff as it relates to technology. And she's like, but now she's getting it. Now she's like, oh, maybe I do need to learn how to use a laptop on it. Yes, because we always say, if you're not growing, you gotta grow. It's like,
for me, I have to say, like, history was not my favorite subject. I have to say it was getting after I got out of school. Years afterward. But then is the fascination with history, because now I understand, oh my goodness, what this really means. Like when I was in school and it was going on all kinds of things, and my brain was, I got to remember all these dates.
Right, exactly.
I mean, really, I have to say that was my main focus. But do I have to remember all these dates, not understanding, the full effect of how this was going to be coincide with my life even now. And like I said, what's going on today, and how all of these things mesh together. So is there a perfect age? I
Right.
don't think there is a perfect age because you're constantly evolving and
Yeah.
constantly learning.
Yep.
And,
You
then
should be anyway.
whatever, there's an area in which you like said you find like maybe I wasn't too keen on something at that moment, but now I want to know. It's kind of like when you were a kid, might not like broccoli,
Right.
and now all of a sudden it's like one of your best things that you could ever have. You feel like that's one of the most far as vegetables, it's like the top of the list.
Right.
And when you were a kid, you couldn't stand
Yeah,
it.
it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny that you said history. It's like, okay, now as a kid, social studies like, ugh, okay. But now when you think about all of the things that's happening around you see all the things that's happening. It's like, darn, I wish I would have paid a little bit more attention to all of that stuff that was going. Because now when you hear people talking about it, it's like, I ain't saying nothing. I'm just gonna sit over here and Google. You keep talking while I research because it's stuff that you just didn't know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, yeah, when you think about it, it's it's like, yeah, I should have paid attention on certain things. But as you get older and you're more seasoned, it's like you have a new appreciation for certain things, right? So now it's like, okay, yeah, darn, I wish I did listen. But the great part about it is you can always go back and do it. That's the great part about it.
Absolutely. I mean, I do see, on the news or, other places, you're hearing about, people who are gone back to school and, they're, as they say, you would say, wow, they in their prime, of life or a little bit past the prime of life, and they're going back to school. Yeah, because like I said, you can still expound, upon what it is that and your knowledge and appreciation now that you have for that area in which you're going back to school for.
I get so excited to see. I have a lot of friends that went to school with me, and we've watched grow over social media, and I get so excited to see those that say, you know what, I am now graduate. I'm an RN now. I am a registered nurse now. I finished. I get so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is awesome because I went to school with them and I understand that we are the same age. We graduated together, and look how you didn't give up. You might have took a break. That's what we do. Yeah. So goes life. You take a break. But you still went back and you completed, and now you're finished. So to all of those that are doing the doggone thing, congratulations. To all of those graduates that went back and did what you needed to do. To those graduates that did it as quote unquote they would say on time, congratulations. But there is, like we're saying tonight, is there a perfect age?
I don't think so, because again, even those who have gone from high school into college, you hear many have, I'm sure you have heard, where someone have said, I've taken these courses and I thought this is what I wanted to do, and then finally, after they're taking the courses, they realize this is not the area in which I want to go. I actually want to go over here. So,
and how many people do that? It's a lot.
Could you
of folks
say
do
that if they had waited, a little bit longer, and then they would have understood where their passion was and where their interest was, so that it wouldn't have to have taken these other courses? But I always feel like even if you take those courses, even though you don't go in that area, there is some information that you're going to use later in life. That's true.
We talk about that all the time. So sometimes, even though it just maybe seem like at the time, those are tools that you may not need.
When you pay for something and then your kids don't go into the area where you...
but they always want to use some of it. Right.
You're wasting my money. But,
that's true.
But I really do feel in my heart that even if they change their mind and decide that there is another area in which they want to go into, that they will be able to utilize the information that they gathered during their course time in school.
We're getting ready to come up on our last break. When we come back, Mike and I were talking about what it looks like, as he would say, on the back end of life. And so we're talking about what is the perfect age? Is there a perfect age? So we're gonna take our last break of the night. When we come back, we're gonna touch a little bit more on what does the downside or the back end. He said the back end, I said the downside, same difference. We'll be right back after this break.
She's B.O.S.S. Radio Network.
Beauty in the eye. We complicate things when all along it's just perfect as it is. Beauty is from within. It's how you feel, not how others see. Skincare shouldn't be complicated. She's the boss believes skincare should be nurturing, easy to use, smell delicious, feel refreshing, and look incredible. She's the boss cosmetics and skincare brings you our botanical-based skincare line that's gentle, uncomplicated, and extremely effective for men, women, and youth. Feel confident and radiate power that flows from inside out, exuding assurance that extends from the home into confidence. Visit us at www.she-the-boss.com or call us at 866-494-5945 to get yours today.
She's the B.O.S.S Enterprises, in collaboration with Get It In Island Cuisine 2, presents WSTBRN. She's the B.O.S.S Radio's second Thursday's networking mixer. Every second Thursday of the month from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. We will be highlighting business once a month, radio opportunities, advertising, conversations, great food and drinks. So come on out and enjoy $3 lunches, $5 Tito's vodka, and $7 catfish platter. For more information on this event and others, follow us on all our social media pages. Facebook, we are She's the B.O.S.S Radio. Twitter, we are She's the B.O.S.S Radio without the O. IG, Twitch, and Tumblr, we are WSTBRN. Or go out to www.she'sthebossradio.com. We make radio first so that your vision will be heard. If you would like to shine a light on business during second Thursdays, please email us at info@she'sthebossradio.com using the hashtag and the subject line. Shine a light on it.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the B.O.S.S. Radio Network.
Welcome back. We're getting unboxed tonight. What is the perfect age? So before we took the break, I was sharing with Pam. We have the topic of conversation in our house is the back end of life. Some will say the downside, some will say the back end. And so we're talking about, what is the perfect age? And I was sharing with Pam that, we know someone that's coming up, getting close to retirement age. And so a lot of times when you think about your retirement, if you think about it, a lot of people, a lot of young folks, well, let me say this, a lot of people start their career. People that are kind of focused, they may have started their careers at an early age. Right. Where now they're getting to the age or getting close to the time when they can retire. They may not have the age, but they have the time. And they could possibly retire. What does that look like when retirement comes for you? Are you the person that's going to be, okay, I'm retiring and I'm going to go home and I'm not going to do anything?
Next that one.
I don't think we're in a time. Back in the day, a lot of folks would retire and they would just go home and relax and just chill out. Just, get their Social Security and whatever. Go join the bingo or whatever. But, excuse me, I think now when you look at it, people are retiring a little younger as opposed to, now granted, there are some that have to work into their later years. But those folks, honestly, if you look at them, I give you an example. I have a cousin, and she's about to be 76 this year. Don't kill me, because
we don't know her.
You don't know who she is,
right?
But she looks absolutely amazing, and I'm like, listen, I want to look like you when I get to your age. But she tells you, I'm working. She said, and I'm going to work until God sits me down. And so she tells us about her experience in being her age and what her day looks like and how she gets through the day and what happens when she gets home. And she said, I live in a senior building. And she's like, they always telling me, girl, you always gone. You never here. You always. She said, and they sitting there and they play their little games and they little. She said, but I be like, see y'all. I'm out and I'm on my way. She said, but she said, I'm not ready to sit down yet. And I'll sit down when God tells me to sit down. But to see her, the energy and the way that she moved at the age of 76, it's like, girl, and it's funny because when I looked at the picture of us together, it's like, I didn't realize we look so much like, but she's so crazy and I just love her, but her energy is just amazing. But then I look at some folks, on a different end of the spectrum where they look amazing, but they were like, okay, I'm retiring and I'm just gonna sit home and I'm just not gonna do anything, right? And so it's to each his own. But now, like I said, a lot of folks are retiring at younger ages, and so much so that even though you're actually retired, you don't have to go home and sit down. You could kind of go home and do some of the things that you really wanted to do.
Okay, like I said, my grandmother was 97. I think it was around 97 when she injured her hip. She passed when she was 98, because she was almost 100. Anyway, she was up there. Just put it that way. My grandmother, like I said, from the day I was born till she passed, I don't ever remember her working outside of the home. But my grandmother was always doing. She was always moving. She could do things for herself. And she didn't drive at that time. But again, always on the go. It wasn't until she had her injury that slowed her down. But that's what I was saying. And I told anybody, my grandma looked good.
Right.
But that's the key. The key is, I think, is also, like I said, in retirement, is just saying, for me, it's just retiring from this particular position that I'm in now, but doing more so the things that I love.
Right.
But keeping busy. I'm not home half of the time myself. I'm always moving about and doing
Lord,
this
Pam ain't
like
never
that.
home. I don't know what's gonna happen when
I had to tell my daughter. I had to tell my daughter at the time. She said, "I'm gonna have to call you." I said, "Yeah, baby, you gonna have to call me because don't think I'm gonna be home. Wait for the babies to come over."
Right, exactly. Pam be on the move, but that's so true. And I think too, when you get to the place of you're retiring and you just want to kind of sit home and just sit home, I think it's draining from you because I think we get conditioned and programmed to moving around and doing certain things, and then you hear so many people say, they went home and they might have gotten a little depressed and down in the dumps because you're not doing those things that you were doing.
You're not stimulating the mind. You're not, like I said, if you stimulate your mind with something like that, I think that's the key right there. You have to keep that mind stimulated, but also have to have some movement going on in the body.
I agree.
So it's those two things that keeps you going. I'm not always with everybody I'm with a generation of people.
Right.
I'm not always with somebody that's my age or older. And I enjoy being with people my age, and I enjoy being around people that's older than myself. But I'm not okay because I'm this age. I can only be around like that. No, my bubble, like I said, it encompasses all ages. It's diverse. And again, because I learn things even like say from the young into the older.
You can learn a lot from the young folks.
Right.
Ooh, Lord, you can learn a lot from the young folks. Listen, you can teach them a lot too.
The communication between what you know and what they are learning, it's like you share and they share. So I think those things, that if you encompass those things into your life, if you're talking about retirement, it's not just staying home and I'm going to relax in my chair, because that.
I think that drains you.
That drains you.
So it's good because it's like you graduated from one chapter of your life. Now you're going on to something different, right? So I think that's really, really good when you can get to the place of doing or getting in that place of doing something that you absolutely. Can you imagine leaving a company that you've put in a million years and now you're going on, you've left there, you're retiring, but now you're going on to do something that you're passionate about, something that you enjoy doing. Okay, I can see the smile on your face when you get up in the morning because now you're doing something that you are passionate and you love doing.
Yeah, and it could possibly be you go back to the job. Let me put it that way.
It could.
But maybe you go back in the capacity. Like I said, I'm not going to be the employee anymore, but now I'm the consultant. I'm coming back in a consulting position, like that.
Listen, I leave that chapter. Listen, that was a chapter lesson learned. On to the next. No, but like Pam said, some people do retire and go back as consultants. That's true.
And you
Actually,
go back
it sounds like the
benefits
are more.
You're there in a different capacity. You get paid. Tend to get paid more.
Yeah,
you really do.
More. Yeah.
You tend to get paid more, but also now, like I said, you have some leverage also in this game as you go.
You're
back
now
there.
the teacher.
Right.
You're now the teacher. So the
Right.
playing field, it changes a little
changes.
bit. And so we're talking about the perfect age. What does that look like for you? So don't think by any means that, okay, I am XYZ and now I missed that train and,
Well,
I waited too
I'm
long.
on the other side.
I'm on the
Mike,
downside, the
and
backside.
I'm on the backside,
Right.
but that's okay.
Pam and I said, if you're on the backside, if you feel like you're on the downside or the backside, that means you're on that Grizzly, that old rickety roller coaster at King's Dominion.
Yeah.
That one that they look like you
Which
shouldn't
one?
get on it. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that means you're on that roller coaster. You need to get off that roller coaster. Get on the one that's going to keep going up, not the one that's going to get to a certain age halfway and get stuck. We don't want to be on that one. So that's definitely the case. Absolutely. So yes, don't by any means, don't discount. You could be a mom or dad. You've raised your family. And now you want to enjoy your spouse or your significant other. You want to do different things. I love hearing people talk. We were sitting at the family cookout last weekend, Memorial Day, and we were listening to my cousin, their son, their only child, is about to graduate, and he's about to leave to go to school. And the school where he's going, they can't listen. I said, girl, don't worry. You can go up there every weekend and visit. She said, nope, we can't. They can't go visit him.
Oh,
yeah.
With it, so they have restrictions on.
Yeah, so he's going into the military, the academy.
Oh, the academy. Okay.
So they can't go and visit him like they want to go. Yeah,
okay.
Right. So they're like looking at each other like, what we gonna do? Like, what? Y'all gonna live your best life. That's what you're gonna do. But they're like, I can't wait to see oh God, I'm gonna have to check on her because I can't wait to see what that's gonna look like when he, goes away to school. But it's like, you kind of look at things so different when there's nobody else in the house and it's just you and your significant other. And it's like, okay, where do we go from here? Like, what do we do from here? And so I can't wait to see what that's going to look like for her and him going forward, because it should be exciting, but I know it's very scary. We had 2 leave at the same time. So I know it's scary, but that we was up and down Virginia every weekend. If not, it grew from every weekend to every other weekend to every couple of weekends. So, I mean, I get it. But because Mike too was in sports, we wanted to support him while he was in sports. And that's what we always did. So, and it felt good to go up there and check on them, because we always say, just because you're sending your kids off to college don't mean they don't need the guidance. Trust and believe, because they definitely need the if not more so, because they're not in the house, they're not under your umbrella, so you can't see all this. So don't think just because you sending them off to school they out your hair. You better do some pop-ups. You'd be surprised what you see doing pop-ups. I'm trying to tell you. So don't the perfect age, there is none. The perfect age is whenever you feel like you are ready to turn the page into the next journey of your life. That
Absolutely.
is then the perfect age. Don't let anybody discourage you. I don't care what they say. If you're 35, if you're 100, if you decide you want to get a boyfriend or a husband at the 50 and 60, then guess what? To those who said you can't, they can kick rocks. So with that being said, hey, don't forget, next Thursday, we're doing Second Thursdays. Come on out to Get It In Island Cuisine. Get It Into Island Cuisine down on 2112 Fleet Street in Baltimore, Maryland. Thank you again for tuning into the show. As always, we enjoy spending time with all of our boss, because each and every one of you, whether you want to admit it or not, run a business of some kind, be it in the home, the conference room, or the community. Please tune into the show every Thursday. Don't forget, next week, we will probably be broadcasting live from Get It In too. At 7:00. And we enjoy hearing from you, so please email us at info@shesthebossradio.com. Connect with us on all our social medias. That's She's the Boss Radio on Facebook, She's the Boss Radio without the O on Twitter, and we are www.shesthebossradio.com. If you want to just come on out and reach us on the contact us and just say hello, or give us some topics that you would like to talk about, we would love to connect with you. Until that time, stay safe, stay hydrated, stay cool, because it's been really hot. Until next week, God bless.
God bless.
She's the boss. Radio Network. We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music.